Mocha Z and Kirsten G. Beautiful, strong queens, come and listen to 3. Peace and love comes naturally. Powerful, outspoken women listen happily.
Welcome. Way to keep the party going. Hello. Good evening. All right, welcome to POW Radio, guys. So excited to see you all. All right. Listen, so I decided that I wanted to support some Black entrepreneurs, and I'm going to probably try to do this every other Tuesday. So get your stuff together, send us something. I'll put something in the comments for you guys. But tonight I am, which side should I go to? I am supporting Unashamed Apparel by Roje.
Shout out Roje!
I love it.
I love Roje.
Go ahead and sing your girl one too. Thanks. Please. Thank you.
Yeah. He has a whole website, unashamedapparel.com, so you guys can go and support sweatshirts, t-shirts, tanks, all kind of stuff. But I love the meaning behind unashamed, and it's basically just unashamed to be who you are, which kind of coincides with our whole topic for tonight. We're still focused on starting with you, and you got to be unashamed to be you. Exactly. Boop, 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 boop. See how I correlated that? Brought that in full circle?
You brought that thing in.
Not around. But in.
Not up, but in. Not down, but in. All right. Okay. All right. So listen, we have already been tickled tonight. So I don't know what type of show you're gonna get, but I hope you enjoy. All right. So before we get into the topic and continuing our conversation about starting with you, which we're going to jump right back in with the last question that we had last week. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Thanks, RJ, for your question, because we're going to talk about it tonight. So what's going on with Kirsten?
Oh my God, you guys. It kind of still goes with the whole self-care vibe of what I've been going through, but I have just learned at this point, just do not be afraid to tell people how much you charge for your services.
Oh, yeah.
And do not be afraid to try to gauge to figure out how much. No, if my price is this price, that's what it is. Don't do all this extra stuff. This is how much it is. And really, really be stern about it. And I feel like, some of us as entrepreneurs out here, we're like, oh, we're just starting. I need to get all the clientele. No, I don't need all that clientele. Listen, I need the right clientele that's going to pay the right prices so that I can add value to your business.
Yeah, exactly.
Not challenging the whole, well, why you charge so much? Why you don't want to invest in your own business?
Right.
Okay, then.
Why you ain't doing it yourself? Okay, then pay me.
Did you Google? Because I'm sure everybody else is charging maybe more.
Actually,
or the same.
Actually, people are charging way more than what I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But because you know me or you think you know me, you think that you should get it for $20.
Right.
Ma'am, please,
I'm glad you brought that up because I am a firm believer in paying what it costs. I'm not the friend that's want the hookup. I'm the friend that's gonna pay you what you say it is on your website. That's me. And I probably go and do it without you even knowing that I did it. You know what I'm saying? Just to support you because I don't want to be that friend. I hate when some people of the melanin persuasion want to get the hookup.
Yeah,
I feel like you're devaluing what I'm bringing, what I'm worth, and you don't do that.
That's one of the
to other
reasons
businesses.
why I stopped doing hair and makeup because I love doing it and I don't mind. And you know me, especially friends, I'll be like, But some people start taking advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, I got to make money too. Not to mention I'm standing over your head or over your face or, using my products or doing everything else. And you already know I'm good, so you already know it's going to turn out good.
You would have come here.
Right. So why not pay me? And then when I say no or whatever, you'll go pay more with somebody else. And then it be looking janky. Now, that's what you get.
Yes. So
yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. I don't want the hookup. I want to pay it.
Yes.
And pay what you're worth.
Yes.
A lot of times, like you said, entrepreneurs are afraid because they want business. But all money ain't good money. All business ain't good business. And if someone cannot value you and pay what you're worth, then they just don't need to use your services. And that's just how I feel.
Plus, your brand is important. So you can't attach your brand to anything. So I'm a firm believer in that too.
You're a firm believer on
a lot of stuff, baby.
You just firm believer.
I'm a firm. Like my feet
planted
planted
up in here.
It's my feet planted on the ground. I'm not doing it. Just because it make money don't make it good money. And I need my brand to be represented in all aspects. And for those people that are not entrepreneurs, you yourself are your brand. Like who I am as an individual is my brand. So whatever I attach myself to has to be worth who I am as well. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you're focused on your worth and don't let people belittle that.
Right.
I'm with you, girl.
Yes. So that's definitely the thing of just saying, hey, you know what? I charge this amount for you, and this is what you're going to get. Right. Let me know when you're ready.
Right. Exactly.
Not the whole other
It's not a negotiation.
No.
Like you're just not going to Walmart negotiating.
No. So any entrepreneur that's out there that's starting a business, do not be afraid to say that this is your price. The right client is going to come to you,
right? And
they're going to be less of a headache than somebody who was trying to get the hookup and all this other stuff. So, like even like my best friend, we work together still. Best relationship ever. Like we're not only best friends, but still working. It's like it's great. Like she respects me and I respect her business when it comes to that. So, listen, guys, keep your head up. Just say no.
You gotta keep your head up.
Keep your head up, and the right person is going to come to you. It only takes that one person. Do not belittle yourself because you think you need that extra $150 or $250, whatever it is. You gonna get that client that's gonna pay you $1,500 or whatever your prices are. I mean, we're just throwing out prices out there.
Right.
Somebody is going to pay the real price. So,
let me just add this tidbit. Especially if your work speaks for itself.
Yes.
I'm not talking about people that say I can do makeup and they never did makeup, and want to charge somebody $150 and this your first time ever doing some makeup. I'm talking about somebody that can stand on what they can do. You know what I'm saying? You know the value of their work. You've done it. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? And now this is how much I'm charging you for it. Right.
Very true. So yeah, long as you have your credentials in line. That's what you got. But if you are just references, credentials, and you have built up, these things from ground up. Okay, great. But again, like Keisha said, if today I took a makeup class, tomorrow I'm trying to charge you $250. Your eye looking like I don't even know what.
Right.
What I asked for versus what I got.
Yeah. Don't be one of those memes. What is that?
I'm sorry, guys.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You can't even sneeze these days.
You can't do nothing. There was sneeze before dang Corona. Okay,
yeah, you can't do nothing.
You can't do nothing.
People have allergies these days. Okay,
I know, and
people have had allergies
flaring up
forever.
for real around this time. For real.
I'm just saying it's okay if somebody sneezes. You don't have to look at them and then start questioning about their life choices and stuff like that. All because they sneeze.
How many people you was around?
Right.
Oh, that's why you got that. That's why you got it. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and pass it over to Zan for random facts.
Okay. Oh, that's so cool that we kind of continue that. So, you know how your mama or like the little sayings you say, maybe saying, don't go outside or you're going to catch a cold. It's actually not true.
Really? I thought it was always true.
So, no, you catch a cold from...
I thought it was true.
Go ahead.
So you catch a cold from rhinovirus. So some of us already have it. Of where you sneeze, that's how we would catch it, or if we touch you. Not being in cold. But the thing is when you're cold, it slows your immune system down. So it'll take you longer to get better. So if you keep your temperature at least 98.6, or that's like when you get a fever. Then it'll speed up your immune system so that the cold can pass. But you're not actually catching a cold from being outside. I was like, oh, okay. I
Somebody
have
have a
to look that up.
conversation
What
with
you
my mama.
catching when you outside?
You just cold. Well, you can catch a cold. Like, just say if Kirsten had sneezed, right? And we're in her vicinity and we're outside, we can still catch her cold outside. But being out in the cold is not how you catch it.
Yes. Okay.
Did you have that conversation with anybody else?
Yeah. Did that come up in random conversation?
Actually, I did have that conversation with someone else.
Okay.
Just one other
Don't
person?
do me. Don't try to do
as long
me.
as you
She said
spoke
just
about
one
it.
other person.
As long as you
And y'all
spoke one
three,
other
okay?
person about it,
And Kim.
yes, it's okay.
Just one
Well,
other person heard
Because
that.
somebody, especially since my head is bald, people always be like, cover your head, you're going to catch cold, you're going to catch pneumonia. No.
You know how them folks be now.
And I was like, you know what? I wonder if that is really true. And I looked it up and I was like, it ain't true. So
You know
leave
what
me
we
alone.
So now you can be
You
out
have
there
a bald
bald
head.
head.
And remember when babies are born, you gotta put a hat.
You always
hat
put the
on.
little hat
But that's
on.
because they have,
The little soft
cradle
spot.
cap.
Yeah.
They ain't got nothing to do with being cold
It
outside.
don't. It don't.
But it changed. Well, no, because your temperature. Oh, that's a random. I don't know. Tell me if it's true. I heard that your temperature.
Why is that your go-to source if it's true or not?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know yet.
Let me ask if it's true.
Wait a minute. I've heard that your body temperature is based off of your feet. Whatever temperature your feet is the temperature of your body.
That's probably
I
true.
have heard that.
Because my feet are cold and I'm freezing right now.
Wow. That's a lot. That's why you should cover your head because you keep your head warm and it helps keep the rest of your
That's
body.
what made me say that. Because
So I should
people
walk
cover
around
their
my
head,
house with
but
a hat on.
your head doesn't really control the temperature of your. I
And something
also
else I
heard. I got a bunch of
You been
random
hearing a lot-
facts too.
you been
Right?
hearing a lot of
I got some random facts.
She heard a lot of stuff, y'all.
That everybody has one part of their body that is the coldest all the time.
That is what?
The coldest part of your body. Like everybody has a part of their body that's the coldest.
Yours is your nose.
Oh, what make you say that?
Because it's always red. Like
Yes,
Rudolph.
mine is the nose. It could be 90 degrees outside and his nose is gonna be red.
You always look like Rudolph.
Wait, so is that true? Because I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even know if I have a cold part of my body. I'm hot natured. I'll be hot.
I don't
Okay.
know. We'll Google and
Yeah,
maybe
we'll
next
find
week,
that one out. That's good.
They'll be able to tell us if it's a
Keisha,
random
now
fact.
stop telling people what you done heard now.
Keisha done heard a lot of stuff.
I
And
heard
I'm not
that.
just going to go around researching all the stuff you heard.
Baby, I done heard so much. Next week I come back with 2 other things.
And another thing I
I
heard.
heard.
Okay, well, here's another one. A blue whale's tongue can weigh as much as an elephant.
Yeah, it's a heavy tongue.
Okay.
That's so
That's
disgusting to
tongue.
think about. That your tongue like
You said a whale? So that's why I probably don't
The
go
whale-
like this. They just
The whale is huge, y'all. Okay.
I know, but just to think about it. That's why they underwater. They can't come up.
Let's keep that
out that heavy tongue.
Heavy tongue.
That heavy tongue.
Maybe that's why
That's
they
why
just
they
let their tongue sitting there and everything come to it.
Oh,
what's the whale at the aquarium? Forgot his name.
the aquarium. It's like I know which
One in every
state.
The Georgia Aquarium.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
in Florida that was Shamu, but that's back in
Oh yeah, Shamu.
Yeah, I don't
Before
know.
they hit
Oh,
Texas.
you said like what's the name of the one that's here?
yeah.
I
Random fact.
Look at her. She added to the pot.
Okay, see, they getting on to these random facts now.
Did
See?
you know?
You see how they come up?
almost
You see how they come up? You see how they can come up? Now y'all get it. Now y'all
Did you know the
understand.
whale at the Georgia Aquarium named is John?
I thought it was Rodney.
What? John.
Okay. This waterfall is underwater, under the ocean in Denmark. The cold water from the Nordic Sea is denser, and it's called the Erminger Seas. Erminger Seas is where I guess the cold water and the warm water meet. But yeah, it's underwater.
Do they have pictures?
I'm sorry,
123
what?
million cubic feet.
How is it underwater? Does that make sense?
It
I
is.
guess it's the way
It
the
is.
earth is formed up under there to create.
It's a lot of stuff under there.
Yeah, the waterfall.
Where is it going if it's under the water?
Under.
Just further
It's
down.
going further down.
Would that make it a waterfall or just water?
It's still water falling. It's just falling underground.
I don't know what's going on.
There could be could be crevices underground to where.
I knew this was gonna be a show.
Hey, I don't know. It's underground.
It's water falling.
Or is
Doesn't
it
make
just
it
water?
Water.
Because you don't hear the splash.
It used to make you say,
Interesting. What is Arsenio High? Then he used to start that. He was like, things that make you go,
Was it Arsenio?
I thought it was.
I don't know, but he was on Coming to America. He was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Do they have
let's
pictures
get
of that,
serious.
though?
Let's get serious.
I asked her to have pictures of that, and then she looked like she was getting like, yes, thank you.
It did not look like that at all.
I said it right
clearly
here.
did
That's
right
exactly
here
what
on
it
my
looked like.
side.
The audience did not see
Where's
any of
your
that.
head?
I don't
That
know.
right I feel like tonight is it a full moon or something? Because
If it is, I got to charge
it's been
my,
a lot of cut up tonight.
my stones. Sorry.
I need to charge rice too.
Sorry. Eat, pray, love.
Okay.
10, 5.
Y'all better know if it's a full moon or not. They just took it there.
Y'all need to get serious about your lives.
If it is a full moon, I gotta do this. We losing the people. All right, never mind. I don't care if it's a picture of it or not. Okay.
I actually wanted to see the picture too.
I don't know.
I can't even breathe right.
Did you see my face? I was looking at both of y'all like,
You're not living your life right.
Oh, you don't know about crystals?
No, I do.
Oh, okay. They don't do us. We talk about charging.
All right.
Let's get focused, y'all, because I got a headache at this point.
If you start
Care. Laughing is
Laughing
part
is
of
part of
self-care.
Listen, before this is part of the topic.
Let it
In this
Let it out.
Let it out.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Let it
so
out.
I needed to drink something.
Okay, so listen, just referencing what we talked about last week before we jump back into starting with you. I think when we left out, Kirsten was talking about starting with you and in terms of self-care doesn't always have to be selfish, right? That's paying it forward. And the reason why I brought that up is because I was in the Starbucks line yesterday. And when I got to the front, the lady said, the car in front of you paid for your thing. And I said, oh, that was so sweet. I already had my money out, though, which I normally don't pay with cash, but I had, cash in my hand. So I was like, okay, I'll pay it forward. I'll just pay for the next person. And I still ended up blessed because the next person's thing was less than what mine was, so I got changed back.
Won't he do it?
Right, I said, now,
Keisha,
God.
now you know you're supposed to pass that change back to the next person.
I paid for it.
She did. She bought it. She's
She
supposed to give everything.
I can't hear. I didn't hear it.
Now it's the equipment.
Now, she done messed up my good heart story. Talking about, no,
Let's start all over. It's fine.
Oh my God, something's happening with that.
Somebody paid for my Starbucks, so when I got to the window, the lady said, the car in front of you paid for your Starbucks. I said, oh, that was so nice. I said, I'm going to pay it forward. I'll pay for the car behind me. My meal happened, what I got from Starbucks happened to be much more than what the person behind me got. So I gave her the money to pay for them. And she said, theirs was only however much it was. She's like, do you want the change? I said, sure. I said, look at God still blessing me in the blessing. That's all I'm saying. When you do right, God does better. You know what I'm saying? All the time.
Say that.
Yes.
Say that.
Yeah.
Won't he do it?
All right. So now back to the whole starting with you. And not being selfish. Did you bring your book this week?
I did bring my book.
Oh, you know what? We said we were going to start with Art Roger's question.
Yes.
Because we'll forget.
Do it in a two-part harmony.
Well, before we get to RJ's question, this kind of goes with what you said in the book about our self-care, and it's about caring for others. So it gives you all of these different ideas, and that's one of them. get coffee for the person that's behind you in line.
Oh,
So
cool.
we'll get into our self-care book, but we have a question from last week that we're going to go ahead and answer.
I'm so excited that I'm on the path without being on the path. I didn't even know.
Well, what path you on? You on somebody's path.
I'm on my path.
The path, whatever that is.
Yeah, I just said I'm excited that I was already
Yes,
on
he
that
was already
path of
guessing. We can
self-care
give you a
and I
little
didn't
check
read.
mark if you
Okay.
want.
Yeah, give me a
Sticker on
check
that
mark. Give me a star. Okay, let's go. Sorry. Focus.
Okay.
Go to the
And
question.
we're back.
Do you think self-care is harder for people with big hearts? They're always so focused on others that they always neglect themselves.
My short answer, yes.
Well, what's your long answer?
My long answer is that it's doable. Yes, it is harder. For years, I beat myself up whenever I had to attempt to tell somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like I go through the ends of the earth to do whatever it is, and if I couldn't do it, I made a way that somebody else could do it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would for years I would beat myself up if I couldn't get it done. And then something happened in my life that I had no control over. So as much as I wanted to fix it, as much as I wanted to do it, I could not. And that kind of reset me to realize that there are times where I'm going to have to say no. There are times where I'm not going to be able to fix it. There are times where I'm not going to be able to be there. Hard lesson, but it made me better. You know what I'm saying? As an individual, because I wasn't spending all of my time, thought, process to please others. More so than I was to please me. And I say this all the time, and I still believe it's true, but not true to the detriment of me. But I'm my happiest when others around me are happy. And that's still true, but I'm not going to forsake my happiness just for other people around me to be happy. Yeah. So it can be definitely hard to do if you have a big heart, but it's doable. That's my long answer.
I think it was a perfect answer, and I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, definitely.
I still feel some kind of way sometimes, though, when I tell people no, but
I don't think you should feel no kind of way.
I do.
I used to feel guilty, like karma is going to get me or something.
Because you
being
said no.
nice.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, oh, dang, I really could. Or you know, I'd be trying to beat myself up, and then,
But that goes into the part where, like, am I being taken advantage of?
Yeah, that's
and
what I
it's
was
more
being
of like,
taken advantage of.
instead of just not thinking of that component, it's just like, I'm going to do it, whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But still, I need to bring it back to me. I need to make sure this one is first. Sure, if I have time, if I can do it, no problem. But I can't go out of my way to keep making you happy.
Right.
Or all these other situations work when I don't even got this person right here together.
Exactly.
It's harder for me to do that.
There were times where I needed to say no, or I couldn't. And I just reflected on all the times I said yes. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I know I got to say no this time. I can't do it this time. But that's okay. Because I've said yes 50 times. So this one no should not hinder. Like, I really thought that me saying no or not being able to do that would hurt my relationship with those people. You know what I'm saying? It would change the mindset of how our relationship was, whether it was a coworker, whether it was a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I guess I built myself up to be that type of person that you can always depend on, that you can always call. You know what I'm saying? That it doesn't matter what you got going on, Keisha gonna have something for you. You know what I'm saying? And I still am that person, but I'm just not that person as a detriment to me. I hope that answered your question, Rojack.
No, I think it was well said. Plus more. Extra credit.
Extra credit.
Extra credit.
So you actually kind of answered a little bit of the second question. So what advice would you give someone who usually neglects themselves to make sure that others are good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we both of them.
Good job.
Look at you out here answering
Okay,
questions.
look at
saving
you
the
go
world.
ahead. Give me
Knocking
my
it
gold
out.
star. Give me my gold star.
Knocking it out with one punch. Look at that. Look at that.
Give me my gold star. I'm gonna put it right here.
Okay. Get that.
All right. So let's talk about your book. Did you bring your book too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So let's talk a little bit about your book.
Okay. So I got this book from one of my big sis, and she got me this self-care planner for the year. So I got it. Well, I'm glad she got it because I really needed a more structured way in how I do my self-care. I know a lot of us, we just go into writing our journals, or we like, oh, I'm going to meditate today. And these are all the things we just do for today, or maybe a couple of days. But then after that, we like silence. See, like there's still know what to do with ourselves. So this book breaks it down into monthly, weekly goals. It has mantras. What are you thankful for? And all these things are just tied into yourself. We sometimes are very quick to answer all the negative things that we don't like about ourselves or our situations. But it was actually kind of hard for me to write down some things, except for, things I'm grateful for. But it was other things like, I still haven't wrote this. It starts off with a love letter to yourself. And I was like, okay, what am I going to write about that? Like, what do I love about myself so much? And what are my goals for my mind, my body, and my soul? And it gives you a lot of different examples of what you could do for mind, body, and soul, which one of them Keisha actually already mentioned, which is for your soul, for your mind, body, and soul, like things like pay it forward, like getting coffee for somebody, reconnecting with an old friend, making somebody laugh, which I done did that for y'all today. So,
ooh, baby. Self-care check.
Self-care check. Take yourself out on a date. Like, it's okay. Like, darn, I really want to go out, but who gonna take me out? Girl, take yourself out. Okay.
I do that all the time.
Take a bomb selfie, building your confidence up. Detox from technology. Get dolled up. Go outside. Meditate. Keep hydrated. It has a lot of different ideas and stuff like that in here. And you set your goals up for the year. You do monthly and you do weekly checkups. So I'm still in January, and okay, everybody in January. Make somebody laugh. Good for the soul.
I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad you're here with us because we all.
Y'all, they came out wrong. We all here in January. I hope nobody else is in February. Y'all do it so well. But just even saying a little mantras to yourself, like I am worthy, and saying that 3 times. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. Yes, I am. Bro, I am so worthy. Like, now you're starting to believe it, just saying these different things. So I love this book, this planner, and we'll see how it goes for the rest of the year. I forgot to do my weekly reflection, but today on Tuesday. Next week, weekly reflection.
So I have 2 things that I want to ask.
You guys, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm making a little.
One thing I want to ask you, and then one thing I want to say. In the recent years, I found it hard to move past the self-care part. Like, you know how you talked about, taking yourself out on a date or spending time writing your journal. Like in my recent years, maybe last 2.5, maybe 3 years, I can do that part, but after I've done that part, it's just like the silence that you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So I need something. Well, last year and this year was a little different, but 2019 was a hard year for me. So I would write in my journal. I would do the self-care, like I would spend a day or 2 just in my space, doing my meditation and evaluation. And then for me, I just rejoined the word after that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if anything really changed. So I don't know how far I took the self-care. Does that make sense?
You feel like you just did it just to do it for that moment, but you didn't continue to keep.
Yeah, it was no follow
like a checkup on yourself. You just was like, all right, I did self-care. Let me go back to the world.
Right.
I think that's what's good about books like that, is it makes you do actions. It gives you something to do. It's not just reading and taking it. It gives you something to do so you won't get stuck. Right. And you just have something every day, every week, every month.
Like I needed
give
that.
You a guide.
I needed that in 2019 because I just felt like it was a cycle for me. It was like, okay, this is too much. Let me retreat and focus and get myself together, and then boom, now I can go back to work, or I can go back and do this. But it was all just, I felt like I was just putting on the front for the whole year. Like I was smiling because I was supposed to. I was doing. There were some blessings, some highs, and some lows in that year. I just was kind of floating through it, like the whole time.
I think a lot of times people don't know actually what to do, like we were talking about.
Yes.
You know, you have all these different things that you think, or they probably do help to a certain degree. Might help to ease your anxiety or calm you or whatever, but you don't have any direction. That's why it's good to go to counseling. Or even if you just stop in the moment and figure out what it is bothering you. Then you can say, okay, I know this is bothering you. Then you probably can go research that. Okay, what kind of things can I learn about this? Or, and that'll also help to distract you from it. But I think a lot of times people just need direction in what to do in that self-care, and not just from friends and family. But
right. I think what I really missed was the follow through. I really, I could start it, but I didn't have, like you were saying, like something to keep me going, like the short-term goals, I guess. Like once I did this self-care, then what's my next step? Because I didn't have a next step until I felt like it was time for me to do it again. It was just like that open area between.
Like you got through that part, and you felt like, okay, I'm good. So now you can just,
yeah. And then I was like, ooh, time to come back to my self-care again, or
But you
focus.
know what? I mean, self-care, of course, is ongoing, but you have those ups and downs in life where it might be the harder time, and you might need to take that time, and then when you feel like you build yourself up, then you do go back into the world, and then something happens to test, you know what I'm saying, and you have to go back through the process. That's just normal. I don't think that your self-care didn't work, because it did. It made you feel better enough to be able to get back out there.
Yeah, I agree.
It did. You probably could have used a little bit more guidance to help you through that year. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't have to suffer or feel like you just was, just doing
stuff. I felt like some
just
things in my life suffered. Like it wasn't as creative. Like I had all these different things that I wanted to accomplish. You know how every year or month or whatever year you start thinking about things that you want to do. But that year I thought about stuff I wanted to do, but then it was like, well, I got to get myself together.
Well, I think we had another topic like this. You guys go check out on our previous episodes of clocking in, clocking out. But I think it's okay for you to have those clock out moments. But again, like I think we've all been there, like what to do. And I think that's why planners or some type of guide for whatever your path is, because I may meditate, I may write, I may journal, I may do Pilates or whatever, but that's my path. That may not work for you. There's a lot of other different things that you can do where, hey, today I'm going to do things for others today. Let's see how that makes me feel. Or today I'm going to just strictly sit here and just turn off all technologies. I don't want to hear from nobody. I just want to see how that works. So until you find that regimen for yourself, then that's when I think that it gets better. But I wish I knew about like structured self-care instead of me just doing like little random things where I will be ghost for like 6 months and don't say anything. But did that really, solve problems for a moment? But what did it really solve?
Did you grow from that? I think
there's
that's
different stages.
Yes.
So you do have to get to a point to where you are calm enough to be still. And for some people, that time is longer than others. So don't take that as you didn't do anything, because you probably needed 6 months for whatever you was going to do, just to calm down and get to a point to where now you can do another stage of it. Now you can start digging in and learning and figuring out what's going on. Because that's another thing. We're not identifying what's really going on. We're trying to put Band-Aids on stuff, but we don't know how we got cut. You know what I'm saying? Or you got a pain, but you don't know why. But you angry, or you stressed, or you all these things. If I need to meditate, if I need to, and get yourself to a calm place to where now you can say, now I need to figure out what's going on so that I can try to heal or fix or work on it. It's always different stages. It's always a process. So it's not something that you're just going to be like, oh, I do this and all that and I feel good and everything. because life happens, you know, and
that just changed the way I think about something that I wrote years ago. But you know how people always tell you that you need to be still and listen to God. You know, be still and wait on Him. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times people think that just means I need to get somewhere and sit down. But the reality is that could take 6 months before I'm really in a place where I can really hear what He has to tell me. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna jump the boat.
I used to have a vision that, you know, the money machines were all the money, and every time when I would be all stressed and everything, that's how I would feel. Like I'm spending the money machine, but it ain't no money, just a bunch of shit. Bills and people and all kind of stuff flying around, you know. And I guess when I got to my breaking point, I just had to just let all of that, just cut the machine off and just let it fall to the ground, you know. And then I can pick out of it what I want, or I can just leave it all in there and walk out. But I have to cut the machine off first and let all of that stuff fall.
What I realized toward the end of 2019, I'll say about end of August, I realized that for the last, I guess, year and a half, you have to slow down, number one, and you have to be intentional about the things that you do and say. And so I planned in 2020 was still feeling like I'm being intentional about the things that I'm intentional.
I can say purposeful.
Yeah,
on purpose. Same.
But and I said that too. Work, you know, being in your purpose on purpose. Yeah. Yep. But that was something that He placed on my heart. But it was toward the end, you know, like August, September time, and I just felt like, you know what, He's right. I mean, a lot of things that I did prior to that, I did because, again, that's just who Keisha was known for. That was my habit. You know what I'm saying? My path. It was just what I was normally doing, but I didn't have, I ain't gonna say the right intentions, but it wasn't pure because I didn't know where it was coming from. I was just doing it out of habit. You know, and then now that I'm in a place where I have to really focus and figure it all out, now I gotta be intentional about the things that I say and do so they can connect to what God has for me.
Right.
So it's a different, you know, when you feel like you're perfect.
Working
in your purpose on
me
purpose.
Me and Kim was just talking about that because from 2 years, just say 2 years ago, 2019, it was a horrible time for me. Probably a lot of people, especially with the university. When I look back to where I was, I had that mustard seed of faith. That's the only thing that kept me still.
I told you, girl, I passed them out,
right? And I stuck with the process, even going through therapy, even going through this, that, and the third. I always told myself, even if I didn't believe it, that I needed to continue the process, steady the course. And now I finally feel like being steady on the course is worked. It's working. It's healing, you know, because so many times we want to give up because it's hard, or we might not think that, you know, it's working, or we might belittle the efforts. That was a big thing for me too. I was making progress, but then it seems like every little thing, I just was so hard on myself, you know what I'm saying, or so afraid. One of my biggest things, I don't want to go backwards. I feel myself progressing, but I don't want anything to happen to make me go backwards. That was like a big fear. So just keep steady through the process and learning and really just digging in and not being afraid, being fearless, and just going through it. You really start to realize the care that you're really giving yourself, you know, because you start feeling the healing. It starts to blossom.
I like that. That's kind of like what I was going through even after leaving corporate, of betting on myself that I could really do it. Instead of, you know, you have so many people are like, oh, you need to go out here and you need to do this. You got to go apply for this. You got to do this. And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, I can go and do those things, but I believe in myself. People to understand, but I got to bet on myself. And this was a part of my self-care that I'm like regaining that confidence back up that I had when I was in corporate. Like I'm walking around like, that's wrong. You don't know how to do that.
That's one of the things. Like,
So now that I'm like, oh wait, I can do this. Like I really can do this. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I can provide you me about their business, and I'm like, we're gonna grow this together. We're gonna rebrand this together. We're gonna market this together. Yes, and I'm gonna do everything so that you don't need to go and talk to Bill, Sally, Paul, and Tyrone. Just kidding.
Okay.
Yes, but I feel like that's a part of this has been a part of my self-care of just betting on myself. Like I don't care if you don't believe me or not.
Right.
I'm going to do this.
I think that's a very good point when it comes to starting with you. Because I know we talked about last week how a lot of people say, oh, 2021, I'm just going to do me. I don't care nothing about starting with you and that self-care is way deeper than doing you. You know what I'm saying? Because doing you, like you, I think you said it, or maybe Kirsten said it last week, is really a deflection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It just means I ain't messing with
y'all.
y'all.
It just means that I don't want to deal with me. So I'm definitely not going to deal with you.
But you definitely need to deal with this person here.
That's what doing me means.
So I
Okay?
can eventually deal with you.
Right. Like I'm not dealing
At
with
some
nobody.
point, you're going to have to deal with something. You know what I'm saying? Like I say all the time when I'm on social media, you know, a lot of people harp and get on their soapbox about other people's issues because they don't want to deal with their own. You know what I'm saying? You see it all the time on social media. But
That's just people in general.
Yep.
Everybody got something to say about everybody else, but then when you
because you'd rather not. Some people would rather not.
Not me. I was talking about
It's
you.
easier to talk about something else.
Right.
But it's very hard to like actually look at yourself in the mirror and then call yourself out on your own bullshit.
That's the hardest part.
And
That's
you're
the part
like-
that people avoid.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like Issa Rae. It should be like rapping and talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I did that. Yes, I did.
Yeah. But that brings me back to my question that I have for you about the self-care.
Okay.
Why do you think that it is hard for you to write the love letter to yourself?
That's a great question. And I wish I had an answer. It's not the fact that I don't love myself. It was just like, what can I write to myself that is, I don't know what to write to myself that I'm just not sure.
Why don't you start with a list of the things that you love about yourself?
I can definitely do that. And
Well, why don't you just write down the things you tell yourself in the mirror?
Like it's a right.
Kirsten, you a bomb. Kirsten, you
Yep.
a bomb. I don't care what these people say. Turn into a rapper. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can definitely do that. I just did not know why. I skipped that first page and I just went straight to the other pages, which is, I don't know. It's a great question. We'll do a follow-up on this and then see if I actually
When
wrote.
you said it, I thought, that's part of starting with you. Like you gotta stop right there and figure it out. Like,
With the first thing. You have one too?
Well, this is my book. I wrote this, I don't know, a couple years ago. It's actually a workbook. It was a workbook for my boot camp. I Love Me boot camp. And it actually...
Oh, you wrote that book. Okay.
It
Like
has
2017?
2017, something like that. But it's all about actions, right? Making you really dig and think. And one of the things is writing to your future self. Writing to the person you want to be, to the person you aspire to be. And when I did it, it was inspiring to me because I always dream about stuff. And I don't know, I'm a visual person, so I have to imagine it. So I literally imagine myself like, if I was sitting next to myself, just say 10 years from now, what would myself look like? And so I wrote it like that. Like I was sitting next to, I wrote what I had on. You know, I really put myself in that situation. And then I just had a conversation with myself. And I wrote it down. Literally, I just talked it out. I talked as I was writing. And it came out. And it was like real powerful. So
I think that I could do that. I mean, I think I could do it. I just felt like it was like,
it's intimidating
I'm ready for the
when you
weekly
start looking.
reflection. But then I'm
And
just
you was like, wait a minute, not that.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll get back to this.
I think it comes back to what we were just talking about, not being comfortable with your flaws. Like knowing that there are some things about you that you don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And being able
with that. And being able to admit that.
That's one thing.
And being okay with that.
Where I am right now is, and I tell myself this all the time, I am not in vain. So everything about me is on purpose because God created me with all my flaws and everything. So I got to be accepting of it.
Yes.
You know, especially especially if you praying for forgiveness, you got to forgive you. So if you can't accept when you wrong, when you in all these different shades of you, you know what I'm saying? You can't expect other people to, you know, be that or do that for you.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like we have all that pressure on everyone else. I'm like,
it's like you want to live up to the perception, but you know that people's perception of you is only the shade that you show them.
Look how God works it. I just went to that.
It's a part of my book.
Yeah. Where you have to write down the positive and the negative perceptions. The positive and negative perceptions that you have of you and that you think people have.
And you know that's so crazy. I think the perceptions that we think other people have of us is not that.
It's not even that.
It's like stuff we just made up in our heads. Right. Like people think I do this, and I'm like, but who told you that?
And then the crazy part is that you out here trying to live up to what you think somebody.
Right.
What you think
and
somebody
think
half
of that at all.
And they're not thinking none of that.
And none of that matters. Not when you're trying to start with you.
No.
None of it matters.
None of it matters.
None of it matters.
That's
what
crazy.
you consider to be a flaw may not be a flaw to someone else. It's just what image you have of whatever situation that you think of yourself in your mind.
And I think
that's just can sometimes be, we'll put it off on other people. This because this is a flaw I see in myself. This is what I think other people see when they look at me.
Yeah.
But other people don't see you like that. Right. That's just a perception we make up in our own mind.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep. Very true.
What we think about ourselves.
Starting with you, baby.
That's what we gonna be.
So stop being out there doing you and really start with you.
I like that. Stop doing you and start with you.
And start with you. Okay. All right. Let's check out the comments. Woo.
Okay.
I think I gotta find my book.
Well, I need to get that book.
You lost your book in the
Listen, like I said, I support my people whether they know it or not. I just be buying and supporting.
So we do have a question. So one of our viewers said, for someone who is always in the hustle and bustle of life, doing so many things, how can they even get to a starting point of self-care if they feel like if they drop everything, they're abandoning people?
You gotta do it. Look, drop everything.
Okay.
Abandon that call.
It's okay.
I feel like
you
learn
you
how
gotta
to
let it go.
You. It's okay to choose you. It's okay. I mean,
so what?
Yeah.
That's what you gotta say. So what? So what if I drop everything, I abandon people? Because remember what we talked about on the last show. You think that other people don't see that you're hurting or that you're going through, but they really do. So how you are reflects on other people. So they see that. You know what I'm saying? And some people don't care. If they not started with you, then they don't care about what you got going on. So you gotta say, so what, and drop everything. Drop everything and start with you.
I agree. I think you should, even if you are you saying that they have all these different businesses and stuff like that, people depend on them.
That they're doing.
Very
key.
Word.
It's going to be way better once you step back and then you can approach your business the way you want to. Because 9 times out of 10, where you're going right now is only going to drive that business down because you're not, the focus is here and you are just fading away. When you first start, so you have to address the first problem, which is yourself, and then, you know, slightly step away.
That goes right back to what we were saying about
and
being
it's okay
intentional.
To somebody too.
Yeah,
being intentional and then working in your purpose on purpose.
Yes. And I would say just practically enjoy the little moments that you have by yourself. If it's in the car, if it's, you know, in your closet while you're looking at clothes, you know, in between all of these things, enjoy those moments that you do have for yourself. And it'll start feeling so good that those moments will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you will see that you can fit yourself in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, if you have the right people in your life that God has placed in your life, then they're going to be okay when you drop it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're gonna be off.
Time you said no,
Yeah.
shoot.
I mean, for some people, though, it might shock them because if you ain't never been that way, that might be a shocker. But then like I said, if they are meant to be there, they would totally understand.
And I also think that if you were to tell people, like, hey, you know what, I'm stepping back. You never know. Like, those people would be like, we got you. It's fine. Go ahead and take all the time you need, and we'll run it for you. You just
That's
never
just like
know
people that
don't
feel like they can't miss work because the job ain't gonna live without them.
Yeah, I'm gone.
I can't. It's like, look, if you don't be there, if you know that job is gonna function,
and I'm using my benefits.
It's gonna function. It functioned before they hired you, and it's gonna function when they let you go. If I don't be there, they ain't gonna be able to. Yes, you're not that important.
I know people like
Sarah. Sit down.
Yeah. You know what? My sister was like that when she first started teaching. She couldn't take a day off, honey.
You done built up all these hours.
Okay, you got time on the books. That's why they
you got 3 years on the books.
When she first started teaching, she could not. And I guess maybe when you first start, most teachers trying to get tenure.
I was like, boy, so they got 2 years of vacation time, don't you?
I'm like,
ain't never took no vacation.
Half a day? You can't take half a day?
You ain't took a half a day, a whole day. You done went in there. You
don't ask her now though, because she quit to take off. Let me find me a son. Y'all ain't got one. It's okay. I ain't gonna be there. But I don't have no qualms about being off. So if you know me, I'll take off in the minute. I'll take it off. No problems either. And if it can't go on without me, just wait till I get back.
Yeah. I'll be back.
And we'll pick up where we left off.
Hold your calls. I'll be back.
Not hold your calls.
But in gist, what we're saying is that you're going to have to start with you. And in order to do that, you got to make the commitment, which means you're going to have to let it go. I agree with Xander, like, depending on your hustle and bustle, but depending on what that is, then you're gonna have to take little small bits first and let that grow. I mean, I don't know what your
because
hustle
I
is.
used to be overwhelmed with being my husband, my kids, pregnant, a dog. It just was like too much trying to keep them on schedule. And I used to do stuff like that. Go in the closet, get everybody situated, and then I go sneak off just to be like. Or even in the car. Even my sons will get in the car like, why you don't got no music in? Because sometimes I just need to have it quiet. Because I think in the car. Because I'm in there by myself. Ain't nobody in there bothering me. Ma, this, da-da-da-da. I get in my car and I can just take a drive. I can just sit in my car away from them.
I do that too. I think in my car too. When I first started,
I think so much.
It's a lot of parents running
dating the guy that I'm dating now. He want to call every morning, and I be thinking to myself, "That's my time."
Okay.
Don't do that. I mean, I know you want to say good morning, but that's my time.
People get offended when you be telling them, "Give me a minute, I just need." Well, what you doing? I'm gonna call you back.
Why you can't talk?
Right. And then you would think they'd be like, "Well, why you answer the phone?" Because the ringing has already messed up my time.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I am one of those persons. I'm like, good morning. And then like everybody like, so I guess you're not having a good morning right now?
I am a good morning.
I'll be back. You know what? I'm going to leave it here.
I'm one of those too. I walked in Chick-fil-A one day. I was in that mood. So I'm like, good morning. This lady walked out. She did not say no. I said, okay, well, bad morning. And she turned around and looked at me like, yeah, sure. You could have said good morning.
I'm a good morning person too, but
you literally heard me say it.
All this grace just
bad
float over here. Just go
Be
block it.
careful going to work.
Don't block your blessings. Don't walk away from your future. You better say good morning. Say good morning.
not blocking blessings.
You don't know what that one good morning could have did for somebody.
Now you blocked for 6 months.
I'm okay with a good morning because I do it every day when I walk into work. I do a good morning every day. But before I get in there, I got my time. I got my time.
Oh, because you didn't say good morning. Or you see me trying to go through the door and you didn't hold it for me. 6 months blocked. That coffee, really? You could have waited for that door.
Okay.
Well, I am sorry that person. Good morning.
Yeah.
And you answer the phone, so you're committed. So I'm agreeing on that. Good morning. Good morning, Kirsten. We'll try it again.
You know, the next person on the other line is like, "When you sleep?" No, I'm just at a peace. That's it. I'm not asleep. Oh, but what you doing?
If you are asleep, why are you answering the phone? Why did you answer the phone?
I do that.
I'm up now.
Yeah, but I still don't want to talk, so I call you.
Right.
Back.
I am not
answer
her.
the phone.
I am not that person. Once I answer the phone, you better tell me what you want. Even if I tell you I'm asleep, tell me.
Oh, I don't answer.
So you're starting your morning off a little aggressive.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this ain't gotta be morning. This ain't gotta be morning.
What do you want?
Okay, you didn't call me.
My goodness.
I'm asleep.
It don't have to be morning. I'm just saying, if I wake up to answer the phone and you say, "Are you asleep?" and I say yes, don't say I'm gonna call you back, because I'm gonna be like, "No, I'm up. Go ahead, let's talk now." Because I can't go right back.
But you don't need in your life anyway.
I
It's just sitting here wasting folks' time talking about, "Are you asleep?" You a greeting, and what is it that you would like to talk about?
Right.
Nah, I'm gonna call you back. You got too much time on your head to sit there keep calling phone back. Are you cooking? I'm gonna call you back. What do you want?
Let's talk now.
I just don't pick up the phone.
Let's talk now.
I let it ring. I'll call you back.
Let me tell you what the worst
I'm
is,
not the
though.
person that be like, "Let me call you right back." No, I just call you right back when I'm done doing what I'm doing. Why? Why am I
My right
do
backs
that?
be a little long though.
Hey, it don't matter, but that's
couple
better
days
than
a
for
month.
me to every time somebody comes, I call you right back. Because then you got that person.
I don't
Why?
like
What
that
you
thing.
doing? What you do? No,
Right. You gonna
I'm
call
gonna
me
let
right
that
back
thing-
and it be 2 weeks from now.
I'm
Don't
gonna
do
let that
that.
thing rain.
Keisha, I don't. First
And
of
then
all,
I'll call
You
you.
don't do that to me, but I'm just saying I don't like people that do that. I'm gonna call you right back, and
That's
then
why I don't answer.
in February you'll
I
be
just-
like, "Girl, what you
I
want
just
me?"
let it rain and then I'll call you when I'm
Keisha, they were going through their self-care, and that's why they are now calling you back.
Yeah,
Okay.
they might have took
Don't
that like,
say
They had
you
to
gonna
do
call me right.
I was
back.
real
So
bad
they
for
should have
that.
said, "I'm gonna call you back after my self-care."
Just say
My
I'll call
grandmother
you back.
and my
Don't
mama
say I'm gonna call
told me
you
that I
right
needed
back.
to do better, because I used to say, "I'm gonna call you right back, Ma. I'm gonna call you right back," and I didn't. It'd be like weeks and stuff.
Yeah.
They was like,
And then your mom
So
be
I
snapping
got
on you.
better now.
It's just your word choice. Your word
It's just
choice.
yeah,
Golly,
yeah,
I
it
couldn't
is.
do
And
that.
some people really take it serious.
You said right back, so I'm
Yeah.
like, but that
Let
could
me
be
tell
30
you one
minutes.
thing that really bothers me, and this ain't got nothing to do with starting with you, but we'll get back to that in a minute.
Oh Lord.
If somebody calls me right before my alarm go off,
Oh, it ain't their fault. They didn't know.
I know, but it bothers the pit of my soul.
So don't answer.
So why don't you have your
I'm
phone
up!
set? No,
Just
no.
because you
Keisha,
up, you
Keisha,
ain't
I'm
obligated
sorry.
to answer the
That is
phone.
the part of
Phone
something that you
around.
have control
My
over.
alarm about to go
yeah,
off.
feel
You can
obligated.
literally put on do not disturb, because
Yeah.
then the other people won't disturb you. So
Right.
if you have it from 10 to 8 a.m., nobody's going to call you.
Right.
It don't have nothing to do with self-care. That's just you, Keisha.
It is me, because I can't.
Set
That's
up your
why you gotta
technology.
go.
I
That's what
can't
you trying to
miss
say.
nothing. I can't miss nothing.
See,
I'm
yeah,
the
that's
one that's
on you.
always there.
Mm-mm. You can miss
You better
something.
look yourself in the mirror.
Okay. You better self-care yourself. Okay.
Not self-care yourself.
You better get yourself together.
Together. All right, let's bring it back. All right, starting with you. So, listen, I have a question for the people out there. Have you ever sat down and wrote out what you love about yourself? I think that's a great way to start.
I think it's a great way to start, too.
Mhm.
I'm going to try to fill my eyes out.
Because it's probably a lot of people out there that's like you and just find that hard to do.
I think Kirsten said that earlier. It's like we are so comfortable with the negative. We
Yeah.
can identify what we don't like about ourselves. We can identify what we don't like about each other. We can tell you that with our eyes closed. But as soon as somebody said, "Well, what do you like?" It's like a deer in the headlights. Like, I don't even know.
Like, you mean to ask me that question?
Okay, and get offended. Why you asking me what
But
I like?
you know what?
I just spent 30 minutes telling you what I don't
Who
like.
cares what I like?
So I must like the opposite of all that shit.
But you know what? I think that's a societal thing, though. Being negative.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because
irritating.
I could call our little comment section over here, and I can say, "Oh, girl, I seen a guy. He was so cute. He dressed nice. He had on some dope shoes, honey, but his breath stank. the one thing that she gonna talk about is the fact that I said his breath stank.
Girl,
She ain't gonna say nothing about, oh girl, what he had on? What kind of shoes he wore?
What it smell like?
She's not gonna focus. She's not gonna focus on all the positives that I said.
Coming up to you.
Right.
Did it brush in the morning? Or was his teeth yellow?
It's how we do. If your homegirl, you try to hook your homegirl up with a dude, or vice versa, a guy trying to hook his homeboy up with a girl, and he say, "Oh, she's so cute. She dressed like she a doctor. We went out together, and she paid. But something wrong with her left leg. But it's okay.
Why? I promise
It's
you.
okay.
Why was I thinking in my head she got a short leg?
But it's okay because she always wear pants and they be super tight. She got a nice butt, and the dude gonna say, out of all those positives, what you mean something wrong with her left leg? Like, we stay with the negative. Listen, y'all got to get it together. Okay? Let go. We stay with the negative. We don't care about nothing else.
I know.
All the positive that's out there, we want to focus on all the negative.
But it's the season for positivity, for manifestations, for everything positive that you think, hope, pray, and been praying about to happen. You just have to give the universe something to connect to. You have to be doing something in order for it to meet you and do that. If people
You have
just
to
sit
be
around,
intentional.
yeah, people just sit around like, oh, wanting stuff to happen. You got to be emotion. You got to be your thought process, your actions, and there's no excuse not to be around talking about you don't know, because it's,
You don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
it's technology and everything. There's no reason that you shouldn't know things. That's all I'm saying. You can learn it. You know, it's up to you. Okay, all y'all, do it. No.
You do what it do.
Do it and stop doing you and do what you
Start
need
with
to do.
Stop trying to do you and start with you, boo.
And start with you.
It's deep. It goes deep.
Deep.
Imagine if we all started with you. How much of that will be reflected into the world? Then it would maybe not be so negative, and it would be all positive.
We probably would be going through this nonsense right now.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a reversal of energy that needs to happen.
Healing needs to happen.
Definitely.
We need some real healing to enter in some type of peace for self-care to happen amongst the world.
Yep.
But
Because
in order for the world to be peace, you got to start with
person.
you.
Yep. Because you can't get healing if you ain't starting with yourself.
And it starts with you replying back to my good morning. You know, you ain't got to slam the door in my face.
It starts with me sending you the voicemail and calling you after I'm done.
Because she had to start with her.
It starts with you telling me on your voicemail, hey, you've reached Sarah. I have a voice.
Not music.
No, ma'am. Let's start over with you.
Not music.
Don't put the
First of all,
music.
it's a part of my self-care.
No.
This makes me happy.
You got a ring back, Tom?
A ring back?
No, but I'm going to add one.
Stop those.
Oh, did they? I never had one.
Can you still get ring back?
I'm going to try to call Apple and see.
No.
All right, next
Not
week,
a
y'all going to
ring
see.
back tone.
It's going to be.
Let's hop over to the
hated
comments.
those
We got any comments or questions?
Self-care starts with you.
Oh my
Call my
gosh.
phone.
No,
You'll be
please
blessed.
don't.
Please don't call. She got a ring back
You'll be
tone.
blessed when you call my phone.
6 months of blessing.
Okay.
6 months of blessing. Hey, you've reached Kirsten. I'm sorry I can't take your phone call right now. But leave your name and your number and I'll get back to you. Until then, enjoy these tunes.
Not these two.
Yeah, these 6 months of blessings.
Kirsten
That's
always
what we call it.
Kirsten always got something that she just gotta do. Remember when we first met her, she was like, I just want to get on the mic and say, it's something for the ladies.
This was for the ladies.
It always be something 1980s.
Facebook said, this is for the ladies.
This was for the ladies.
I don't know why I just like that era so bad. Like it's just all that.
Start with you, boo.
This was for me.
Start with you, not
All the ladies.
Not all the ladies. I was like, what is she talking about? She was like, I just gotta get on the mic and say, this was for the ladies.
And it's like a certain way you gotta say it and then drop the mic.
Oh, Lord.
And it's supposed to be like an awkward silence, like after that, and I'll be so prepared for it. Like
she wanted to do that so bad,
smiling and happy and everything. Wouldn't even care.
No,
well, this was for you guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. I'm sorry. I don't know. That randomness of hers just made me think of that. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead with the comments.
So the comments below. So one of our commenters said, yes, I have written a love letter to myself. I actually started out with the things that I personally didn't care about myself, and then I migrated to things that made me smile, that welcome positive energy into my space, and then I focused on things that I loved about myself and things that just made me feel good about being present and being positive every day.
Good.
That's good.
I like that.
That is definitely a start.
Accountability and identified. Okay, I
I
don't like
process.
these things. Okay, but
I like all these things, and this makes me
yeah.
feel good. Yeah. Identifying what you don't like may be the easiest thing, but it's definitely the hardest thing to accept. You know what I'm saying? Like how Kirsten was saying, like I can tell you all the things I don't like, but it's the hardest thing to accept that these are the flaws that you have, that these are your weaknesses, that these are things that you feel
and
are
I
not
think
good.
that we're hardest on ourselves because we know our potential. We know better in what we can do more than anybody else know. So when we're not doing it, then we get down on ourselves because we like, girl, you know you should be doing it. You know what I'm saying? You know you can do better than that, but we not living to our own expectations.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely agree with that. I just found it very interesting when Kirsten led with the fact that she hadn't done that part. And I was like, that it was interesting to me because I feel like so many people do have a hard time of really, really talking about themselves. Like, and that's the whole part of starting. You can't get to the rest of the self-care until you really start with
society make you think like you're conceited or you arrogant or stuff like that. They put those type of stigmas because you know what I'm saying, like focusing on you or you're confident or whatever, then you must be all these other different things. So that's probably why a lot of people be like, if I'm thinking about me, I don't want people to think this, that, and the third.
Well, who cares what they think?
I'm with
you over there focusing on yourself and praising yourself and why is that a negative thing? Like, it's okay. Oh, she's showing herself out too much. Girl, you better walk.
For real. Mind your business.
I seen a post that, you know how Facebook do memories? Your post or whatever. I don't know how many.
First of all, Facebook gets on my nerves with those memories because it always shows something like a outfit or something. I was like, did I really put that on? But I was really confident that day.
Yeah, you did.
But I didn't see it until now. Like, I didn't see it 10 years ago.
Right.
Growth.
Yeah. But a memory popped up in my Facebook memories a couple of weeks ago. But it was like a little meme, and it said, if you hear people talking about me, make sure they start with, she doing her damn thing. I love it. Like, and I thought, that's perfect. I mean, I don't think I lack confidence, but I can see that other people may think that I feel, am too conceited or whatever.
But that's your perception.
Yeah, you're right.
They
might not even think that.
That's why
I do think that you are doing.
That's why doctors is on Facebook. That's why I put my doctor. I got my doctorate in 2009.
Did not have no clue. No,
right.
Wait, didn't have.
I
did not have a clue. Sorry,
you didn't know.
A lot of people didn't know because I just downplayed it, and
I don't know why, but I played it.
Maybe you had just met her.
Probably.
What, 2009? Oh yeah, we didn't meet until 2010, and I don't think we ever really talked about
never did. No, but I just part of my self-care and stuff. I'm like, I can be proud. I can be proud of that. I don't have to hide or feel like, I don't want people to think, this, that, and the third. And really, I'll tell you where it really stemmed from. Because when I was married, I got my master's and my doctorate when I was married as a stay-at-home mom. And when I got my doctorate, my little raggedy husband at the time was like, oh man, he didn't say congratulations or nothing. He was just like, oh man, I was supposed to be the first one to get the doctorate. I was like, nigga.
You should. I know you didn't know this back then, but you just said you need to start with you and let me do this.
Okay, back then I was all messed up, but I was just like,
probably
dang,
like, what's happening over here, buddy?
Yeah, so I just never. But I was like, you know what? No, it's me.
So your mind was thinking, I'm gonna let him be a doctor before I say I'm a doctor.
Yeah, it's stupid, but hey. That's where I was
but
at the time.
That's a part of the growth.
The growth, because at that particular time and in that era of me being married, I was thinking of the husband being the head, and
which is true, but that don't have nothing to do with
but to the extreme of it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's why. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just.
Well, Dr. Zan, listen, I am proud. I'm actually.
I feel like I think we need like a whole intro, like Dr. Z.
Let me play your background music. I got the perfect song.
Random facts with Dr. Z.
Well, Zan, you actually encouraged me. Like, I want to go get my PhD now too. So I'm because I feel like I'm just, student loans are a joke at this point. Like,
yeah, why not?
I mean, why not go ahead and get a doctor's degree?
Why not?
Just add it on. Okay. Hopefully they'll write it off.
Just add it on.
Hopefully they'll write it off. I hope they do.
You're not owing somebody.
Hey, I just say follow your dreams, do whatever. Years ago, I forgot which company I worked for, but I was doing customer service. I got this call. It was an older guy. He said he was probably like 70 something, and at that time he was just getting out of his residency to be a doctor. And he was like, this is like my third or fourth career. He had been a teacher. He was, I don't know, a bunch of different things. But he was like, as long as I'm living, I'm going to do all the things I want to do. So I didn't care about going back to school. I don't care if it didn't relate or whatever. I did this. I went to school. I worked it. I retired. I went to school and did that. I worked it. I retired, and I always think about him. And that's why I always say, you know what? Until I stop, I ain't going to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Take that.
Take that. All right, so listen, I know we said we were going to talk about starting with you all month. So I'm going to give you guys some homework.
Yes.
All right. I don't have a self-care book, but I'm going to piggyback off of what you guys have discussed today. And I think we all should write our love letters to ourselves and really get comfortable with owning those flaws and those perfections, I guess, or strengths, and actually read them out loud to the people.
Okay.
Are y'all ready for that?
Ain't no shame in my game. No.
Right. Do we need a week for that, or do we need 2 weeks for that? Let's come back next Tuesday and let's share what we have.
Ladies.
Let's come back next Tuesday and see how far we got in with our love letters to ourselves.
Okay,
we're starting with you, okay? Accountability, ladies. Mm-hmm. All right, this one's for the ladies. No, it's also for our men too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with you. I can't wait to hear more about it. So listen, Mocha says, get out of the thought process of doing you, and remember that you must start with you. Check us out next Tuesday when we're gonna write a love letter to ourselves. Can't wait to see you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, yeah.